Don't waste my time. Don't waste my I can live forever, but I need you by.
Welcome back to episode 2. This episode, we are going to be talking about rentals deserve good marketing too.
Ooh, fancy topic, Claire.
Thank you.
So what does that entail? Rentals deserve good marketing. I'll let Claire talk.
Thank you, Patrick. This topic is about how rentals are kind of like the black duck of the property industry, right?
Yeah.
They are such an untapped, hidden, like frowned upon shit kicker in the industry, like I would say, right? If you say I rent a property, people kind of go, ugh. But there's nothing bad with renting a property, but there's nothing, obviously being a landlord, it's amazing, right? So we're talking about how to make sure that your property stands out, because you don't want tenants who are going to damage your investment because that's going to cost you more. You want the right tenant and the perfect rent.
Yeah.
So how do you as a landlord spend a little bit of money, because you've already spent a bit of money to acquire this asset, and then you're spending money with your property manager, you're spending money on your insurance. How do you then spend just a little bit more to make sure that all the ducks are in a row, so then it's perfect?
I think the best place to start is at a bare minimum photography and a floor plan. Now, when I say photography and a floor plan, I don't mean go nuts on absolutely every single feature of the property and take another 30 photos or 40 photos to show off your one-bedroom unit. I'm talking about like bare minimum 8 or 12 photos. And it's actually a package that we have at Panorama because we found that's a sweet spot for rentals. The bare minimum to showcase big open spaces, to show the flow of the house and to show the asset of what you're wanting to rent out. And Claire is going to talk about the floor plans because I know that's a big gripe she has when we were looking for rentals.
True. A couple of years ago, we were building and looking. One thing that annoyed me the most was they didn't have a floor plan. Even floor plans who don't have a north arrow for sale properties. There's a few agents in town who don't do that, and that gives me the shits as well. But as a rental, you've got to think, you as a landlord, you want a long-term investor, right? A long-term tenant. You want someone who's going to care for your property, respect it, love it, and you want them to be there like 5 years, 6 years. Like that would be amazing.
Which also is good because it means that you know that you're locked in with good quality price and fixed income, right?
Correct, exactly. So if you can present them enough information that they go, like they could be a tenant who's like, I wasn't even thinking about renting this place, but then I saw the floor plan and I was like, this is perfect for me.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go and actually look at it.
Renting a property is like, it's like selling a property,
Yeah,
right?
it's like buying a property.
It's like buying.
You want a tenant to care about your property as their own.
And I think at the end of the day, the floor plan is the thing that helps it's that visual aid that helps you understand where things are, where they're located, the orientation, how your furniture and lifestyle are going to fit into this property. One thing is you think about, not everyone has a big Jasper lounge. We definitely don't have a big Jasper lounge, but I'm talking about big furniture sometimes doesn't fit in all properties. So having a quick reference to go, oh, yep, that space is this big, our lounge is this big, it can fit in the space.
Yeah.
Or we've got an 8-seater dining table and we're going into a one-bedroom apartment. There's no way that's going to fit in there. So all that sort of stuff, you don't know that unless you see a floor plan. And that's why I say that. Like, and I think the other thing is, I think people think that it's more expensive than it actually is.
Yeah.
Like, you think the entire operation of putting together our rental packages, that's less than 1 week's worth of rent.
I'm not sure because we don't own investments, but I feel like there possibly would be some way as a landlord you'd be able to claim some of that back at tax time. Like there's probably some benefit you could tap into.
Well, it's a business expense, right? It's an investment, you can claim it.
And as I said, like you want the ideal tenant, so why not show them the ideal property, particularly when not right now, but generally there is a lot of rentals on the market. And one of our local property managers, they don't even list properties up for rent because they just get so many people coming through it because they have great content.
Yeah, 100%. So what's next, Claire?
We've talked about the benefits of having good quality content, and I suppose it's how do you capture good quality content? If you were a property manager, you don't have the funds to be able to pay for someone external to come in and shoot for you. what are some tips and tricks you could offer them?
Yeah,
Pat?
sure. Number one thing is you've got to make the distinction pretty early on when you're doing the rental. Is the place furnished or is the place empty, right? And is the place furnished with owner's stuff or is it furnished with tenants? All three of those have different scenarios and we'll talk through each one. Let's talk about the easiest one. Empty properties are always the easiest to take photos of because they're empty and you can get angles as wide as possible and really show off the true nature of the space. It's exactly the product as it is that you're going to then give over to the tenant who moves in, and it's great to photograph in that way. Marketing purposes, I think that's the most preferable option just because it's the easiest and it's the cleanest all round to make the best of it. So what you're looking for, and this now applies to all three scenarios, is you're looking to showcase the space in as fewer shots as possible, right? Because we're savvy buyers, we're quick, we're scrollers.
I suppose the important shots.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say fewer shots as possible. The most important information up front. So you don't have to necessarily take a photo of every single bedroom. I would aim for a master bedroom and one other bedroom if it has a feature in it or it's just has a wardrobe. Then I would go into your lounge room area and livings and dining spaces and make sure you have really good shots of each one of these, showing off natural light, showing off big open spaces, showing off how your furniture could potentially be in there. Next one is, of course, the kitchen. Everyone's got to eat, everyone's got to live, so having a kitchen shot is hugely important. And then finally, moving into the bathroom areas and showing what those facilities are like. And then, of course, the other thing is, does it have any outdoor spaces, a deck, a garden, play area, rumpus room, whatever. All of those are shots that need to be included in the listing. Now, in terms of actually taking those photos, big thing that people overlook when they're shooting rental properties is, or people that don't know much about photography as the professionals do, people forget what they see with their eye and what a camera sees are two completely separate things. When you shoot with a camera on your phone or with an actual camera, everyone seems to shoot this upright angle and down, and that creates these really weird angled lines that aren't parallel. Our eyes naturally see parallel lines and do this de-warping thing. Cameras are not yet there to make that happen. So we need to trick the camera into seeing what our eyes sees. So that means getting slightly lower. Now, a really cool general rule for taking property photography is if you shoot between your chest height and your waist, in that range, no matter how tall you are, that's a really good starting point to get the right height. Next up is making sure that when you tilt the camera, it has no tilt up or down or left to right, to make sure that your horizons are straight and that your verticals are straight. When you're looking at a wall, it's upright in the air and not at a warped angle. That's what makes spaces look good. Then step back and make sure you can get two walls, and if you can, maybe a slight third wall, only if it's important to the shot.
Like
so
one
like if you've got the rule of thirds, if you're on a camera, 1/3 is like one finger width of the third. That will show a space in its biggest possible form and show that you can take an amazing photo from there. What other tips can I give? I mean, natural light is always good. Bright lights is always important.
What about like turning on?
I think depending on the look that you have, like there's no right or wrong answer there. We as property photographers, I generally just like all the lights on. If you wanted to go down the architectural route, you can have lights turned off. But this is a rental, probably a bit extreme. Turning on all lights, making sure the temperature of the lights are all the same color. So like a white cool light, a blue light, or a yellow light. You can't have a combination of all three in one thing. There's so many rentals that we walk into and that happens. We have to make editing magic to bring it all back together. And then just overall styling to the best of your ability. If it's staged or tenanted, just asking the tenants to clean up a little bit or move stuff around so you can get the best photo, because there's nothing worse than seeing a crappy rental photo on a marketing listing that's of a tenant's stuff and it's just crap everywhere. There's no cleanup, there's no anything like that. Is there a way that you can incentivize your tenants to help you out in this scenario? As property managers, tenants can be difficult to work with in terms of grabbing marketing photos because they know that they're on the way out.
Like they're like moving on or something. If it's for rentals. But I suppose, if you can incentivize them, that would be like, it just helps. And obviously everything presents better
Yeah.
for everyone.
So could that be 1 week's free rent or a reduced rate or giving a nice gift so you can get those property photos that you need to help sell it off for your landlord? So yeah, that's some of my top tips for capturing some of these moments.
Awesome. And what would you say is your ultimate rental photo content package? If you were to pitch one, what would you reckon every rental should have?
I'm going to put them into two categories because I think it's
Yep.
really important. In 1 to 2 bedroom places, it's 8 photos on a floor plan at a bare minimum. Super simple because there's really only 8 spaces that you can actually take a photo of. In larger properties, these are your 3 bedroom plus and your mansions, I would go from 12 to 16 photo package. Now, what's really great about the panorama stuff is the photo count isn't super strict, right? If we know there needs to be a couple of extra shots, we're going to just throw them in for you. But basically, 12 photos will give you that space to capture the larger listings and go from there. You can go even further and add drone, you can add virtual tours, you can add a walkthrough property video. All of these are great add-ons, but they're not essential to what happens with getting your rental live. So there's a bare minimum photos on a floor plan, and the 12 or 8 photo packages are my highly recommendation.
What would be your message to property managers in terms of what they should be giving and getting their landlords to sign off on?
So for us, it's about trying to upsell the value of these other services we can offer, because at the end of the day, good quality marketing and good information gives an informed buyer to make the decision they need to rent or buy property. So if you as a property manager can give out, like, let's forget the product for a second. If you can give out an information pack that prepares a property for taking photos, understands the process of what happens for marketing property, like they're step ones that will already put you in another league to the other rental companies. And then the next step is going, okay, well, for a little bit more, add a walkthrough video. This is like literally a vertical video on your phone that walks through the property for buyers that may not be
like the flow and
the
the
flow and the
layout.
layout, for buyers that may not be able to, for renters who may not be able to see a physical inspection, offering iPhone FaceTime tours. Like that's a pretty cool thing as well. Offering virtual tours in our world are really great because you can either do a Matterport full-on tour, or we've got our Panorama product, which is like key hotspots of the area, and it works really great for rentals.
And it's branded to the agency.
And it's branded to the agency, which means that you can make sure that it looks professional and all works in with your brand. So those are some of the tips that I would do to property managers to get them to get things across the line, or even...
And I suppose, like, sorry to cut you off, Pat, the return on investment is huge. Obviously, you got to spend a bit, but everyone is saying you got to spend a bit to make a bit. If you're able to have great content and attract that dream tenant, and you can get that dream rent, then you'll be like, why didn't I do this sooner?
You were reminding me of one of our top clients, one of the largest property managers here in the ACT. Literally, we take photos 1 week.
I say they have professional photos for every single rental listing.
They do not take it on if it...
Don't. Obviously, if they sold it and then they're now renting it, they will obviously they'll use those photos. So they've got professional, good quality images for every listing.
Yeah.
And then what we've noticed with them, we've been working with them for like years,
yeah.
and we love them so much. They are so lovely. We will go take photos for them, and then we also help them out with their ingoing inspection reports as well. We literally will take photos, and then within a week or two, we're back doing the inspection report because they've already found a dream tenant.
Yeah, this could be because they've got good databases, or we like to think it's all to do with good marketing. And
It probably is their database, but we'll take it as marketing.
No, the marketing obviously helps, right? They know what they want. They can get it done and across the line really quickly. Results speak for themselves. Time and time again, we've seen weeks, 3-4 days sometimes, depending on how fast it is to get it up right. So it really does speak wonders with what professional marketing material does to get your listing rented out there.
Yeah. Well, that is it for now. I've got to find the topic for number 3.
What's next, Claire? What's next to episode?
Social media for real estate. What actually works at 25. So that is it on rentals. And next episode, we are talking about social media and what real estate agents and agencies should be doing in 2025 to get the results.
Love it. We'll see you on the next podcast.
See ya.